This former blacksmith shop in one of Worcester's historic mill complexes is home to a passion project.
You started, like every great American story, in a basement?
In a basement. In a basement in Cambridge, experimenting.
Rodrigo Vargas grew up in a family with a shared obsession: food. During summers visiting relatives in Portugal, Vargas soaked up all he could.
I was constantly exposed to what they were doing. So making olive oil, making wine. The family will literally sit down for lunch, and lunch is 3-4 hours. Like 70% of the topic is discussing the food that's on the table now, and then what we're gonna have for dinner afterwards. Like that sort of obsession with like one ingredient or one flavor is something that ran deep.
Today, Vargas is focused on one ingredient: vinegar.
I didn't think anybody was making really great American vinegar. Vinegar comes from alcohol. So if we have great American alcohols, why didn't we have great American vinegar?
Vargas left a corporate job to launch American Vinegar Works in 2019. He's inspired by 19th century techniques to make small batch vinegars. They're raw, fermented slowly in a special machine, barrel aged and bottled by hand.
When you think about vinegar tasting better, one of the things that you should think about is it should be much more than acid. Even though the alcohol is all transformed to acid, you should be able to get some of that flavor. We want to innovate by bringing people back to how great vinegar could be and how it transforms your food.
American Vinegar Works produces more than 15 varieties, all made with American-grown ingredients.
Each one of these bottles has 17 servings in it.
Wow.
Vargas says it's easy and healthy to whip up your own vinaigrette.
You take 1 part vinegar, you take a little bit of mustard. Once you've blended in the vinegar and the mustard, what you're doing then is putting about 2 parts olive oil. So then you could choose to put in some garlic, a little bit of anchovy if you like a little bit more kick, or shallots.
And next time you're cooking, Vargas advises cut down on the salt.
Vinegar is full of flavor, but it has 0 calories. It has no salt. So if you just use a little bit of acid, even a lemon, I'm the vinegar guy, but even a lemon, use acid in your food, decrease the amount of salt that you're using, decrease the amount of fat that you're using.
In Littleton, Massachusetts, some salad to go with your dressing.
My goal here at Johnny Putt Farm is to pick, pack, and deliver the same day, and to produce greens that have a little snap to them. I like to say Johnny Putt Farms are greens that bite you back.
Jerry Cavallo is the jack of every trade at Johnny Putt Farm. As a child in New Jersey, he helped his parents with their victory garden. During a long career in engineering, an idea began to sprout.
For about 45 years, I was doing international and domestic travel. And so I noticed overseas that people were much more connected with their source of food. And I said, well, what can I really make an impact on? What is not as good here as it is somewhere else? And I came up with greens because they come from California, and it's a long trip to get here, and everything tastes better when it's fresh. This greenhouse gets its warmth from the ground. It's called an earth battery.
Near his residence, Cavallo built these high-tunnel greenhouses where he can grow year-round. His salad greens are free of pesticides, fungicides, and other chemicals.
I think what grows on a leaf is good for you, not just the leaf itself. And so if you keep a clean environment, no warm-blooded animals come in here except for me. I pick everything by hand, and I always wash my hands before I cut. These are called deep water rafts. It's just you put a nutrient solution and they float on top. Behind me where the flowers are growing, that's called an aquaponics setup. You can hear the water splashing down.
Johnny Putt Farm grows a variety of red and green lettuce, arugula, microgreens, and other dark leafy greens.
I try to find things that have stronger flavors. I like the arugula. When it gets older, it has a different taste than when it's young. And so I try to find things that sort of make the greens pop.
Cavallo likes to toss in a few edible flowers with each 15-ounce bag. Because Johnny Putt Farm picks, packs, and delivers the same day, Cavallo mostly sells to customers close to Littleton.
Well, it's something I always wanted to do, have my own business. But you don't make much money in the farming business. I only make money if people pay more than what my costs are. And if people are willing to do that, I consider that to be a vote.
All right, so why did Jerry Cavallo name his farm Johnny Putt? Turns out a man by that name lived near Jerry's current property back in the 1800s. After fighting in the War of 1812, he came back to find his wife had remarried because she thought Johnny had died. Given a choice, she opted to stick with the new guy, and Johnny became a hermit. Cavallo sees this as a cautionary tale about managing risk and as a reminder to think smart about his business.